G'day everyone, Linda here again. Today we're going to we're only going to be making the one earring because it takes such a long time to get through one. So this is the one we're going to be making. Very similar to this anyway. In my last video I made an asymmetrical earring. This one is more symmetrical. We're still going to be using the 3 bead netting as we go along. The only difference in the earring we're going to be making today are the colours. So I'll show you those. Just move these out of the way. We have this little pile here. And they range in, I've lined them up here. They range from it's size 11 OB there, a size 8, a size 6, some cubes, and some O beads. Now you don't have to use these, this is just my selection. You can choose whatever you like to use. Okay, we'll just, I'm going to add these back in because we're going to be using those anyway. Okay, and you're also going to need some, just move those out of the way, a pair of snippers, some fireline. I always use 8-pound fireline in the smoke colour, a tape measure in centimetres and inches if you have one. We're also going to be using some beaded beads as a drop, and these are beer quartz, and they measure 15 centimetres by 9 centimetres. And beaded has the drill hole going from this side to that side across the top. Also going to be using some freshwater pearls in a burgundy sort of colour, burgundy pink colour, and some fire polish, check fire polish. I have a 2mm check fire polish here and a 3mm. Sorry, I got that around the wrong way. That's a 3mm and that's a 4mm fire polish. So that's what we're going to be using today. You can use whatever you like, totally up to you. You'll need a needle. I use a 10 or a 12 needle, and I've got about, let me just see here, just over one wingspan, so 1/2 wingspan rather, I should say. So from my shoulder out, going outwards to my fingertips. Okay, let's get started. First up, we're going to tip out some of our beads. Just a small pile to start with. Sorry, I didn't mention that you're going to need a stop bead and also an ear wire. So we're going to thread up our stop bead, take it all the way to the bottom almost. Just leave yourself about 3 centimetres. So roughly about that much. You can see that. Okay. Then we're going to thread on roughly about 3 centimetres of beads. It doesn't matter which bead you pick up. Those down to the stop bead. You can pick these up any way you like to pick them up, individually or as I'm doing it, whichever way you're more comfortable with. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. It's a bit of a miserable one here today. We've had nothing but rain for weeks now. It's just getting a little bit beyond ridiculous. Okay, I'm just going to measure that. And that's way over 3 centimetres, so I'm going to take some of those off. Too busy talking, they're not paying attention. Sorry about that. Okay, just try that, see how we're going. It doesn't have to be exact, just roughly. And that's roughly 3 centimetres, just a little bit over. That's fine. Now we're going to come around to our stop bead. The bead below the stop bead, we're going to go through it. Until you have a loop like that. Okay, now we're going to pick up 3 beads. Doesn't matter what size, just 3 beads. Measure it up from your bottom bead where your thread is coming out. And see where it fits in nicely. It's going to fit nicely into that pink one just there. Pull it up nice and tight. 3 more beads. Measure it up from where your thread is coming out of your last pass through. See where it will fit in nice and neatly. And it's going to be this bead here. You just have to remember that freeform is not an exact science, or there's no pattern to follow. It's just there's only a few stitches you need to know, and that's 3 bead netting, and then we go into modified 3 bead netting and peyote. And with those 3 stitches you're pretty much right, you can do freeform bead weaving. Okay, measuring that up again from where I've come out. Okay, you can see the pattern starting to form there. Now, 3 more beads. Measure up. Just finding which bead that's going to sit nicely into. Pulling your work nice and tight. 3 more beads. through that one. Pulling up nice and tight. Now this one, because we have a cube bead, it's probably going to take more than 3 beads to come through this one here, I'd say, is where we come out. So you can pick up 4, 5, whatever you need to use to get through it. 3. I'll add just one more. 3 might have actually gone through there, but I'll add one more. Better to be safe than sorry. Okay, coming through that one after the cube bead. Pulling up tight. 3 more beads. Just going to bring this out. This blue one here. Pulling up tight, up through the one just below the stop bead. There we go. Okay, now we're going to take the stop bead off, tie a knot in our thread, which will be a square knot. And from here we're just going to continue around again, picking up 3 beads, measuring up. It's going to come out of this one here. So I'm just going to leave you there, let you continue all the way around until you get back up to the bead that was just below your stop bead. So if you remember what colour that was that you were using, and yeah, just stop when you get to there, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I've come out the top of my work here. I'm just going to continue around picking up 3 beads, or however many you need to fit neatly into the bead you want to come out of. So remembering to measure up. Pulling your work tight. And start adding in some of your cubes, some of your O beads, some of your 6 noughts as well. So I'll pop a cube on there and see. Okay, we need one more of the 11 O's. Pulling tight, and just continue on like that. I would say for another 2 rows around until you come up roughly where your tail thread is here. And we'll meet back there and we'll start adding in some definition. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay, now we're going to get into the fun part. This is where we start embellishing. So I'm going to pick up 2 of my freshwater pearls. Bring those down to the work. Okay, now I just need to anchor those in, so I'm going to find a bead down this end here where I can anchor that in. And it's right underneath, almost underneath my freshwater pearl. Just got to finagle and wiggle around. You can move the pearls out of the way at the moment if you like, they're not going anywhere. Nope, that one doesn't want to let me in there. I'm going to pull a bit tighter. I'm going to come up through this blue one here, hopefully. Okay, I've come through 2 there, that's okay. Pull tight. Okay, so we've just come through that bead there at the back. And now I'm deciding where I want to go here. I'm going to go through a few more beads on that outside row. Just maybe 2 or 3, whatever, wherever you come out. That was 3 for me. Now I'm going to add a few more beads. Bring them down to my work just to have a look here. I think I might add in another freshwater pearl. Yes, I'm going to add another freshwater pearl. Just grab another one here. Yeah, I think that looks nice. And then from here, I'm going to add one of my 3mm fire polish beads and a few more seed beads. I think I added 3 on. Yes, I did add 3 on. Finding a bead that you can come out of there. I might add one more seed bead. Just an 11-0 that was. Finding the bead that's easiest to come out of there. Okay, now I'm going to add 3 of the 3mm fire polish. Bring those down to the work. Yes, I like the look of that. Pick up one more bead. Bring that down to the work. Trying to keep the thread out of the way. It's going to fit nicely into this bead over here underneath. Okay, I think that might be enough embellishment for the top of that. So we're just going to pass through everything and tighten everything up now. Pulling tight. Back down through the freshwater pearls, this time making sure they're facing the right way. Wiggling to get that through. Okay, that's coming through now. Just take a bit of wiggling and finagling to get that right. Making sure you don't get your thread caught up along the way. I thought I did then. No, I'm right. Back down through another bead there, just needs a little bit more tightening up there on the end. Okay, they're all nice and tight. Now I need to get from here over to this fire polish, so I'm going to add in another bead, or maybe two. It's going to take two. Back through those 3mm fire polish. Through the one in front of that bead, if I can get through it. And then I'm coming back this way and I'm going to tighten that up that way. Tightening up these beads underneath as well as I go. making sure you don't get any loops in your thread. Just keep your eye on that all the time. This is a lot more difficult to do on camera than it is off camera. I usually work under a magnifying glass with a light on it. Passing through that freshwater pearl. So you can also see why we're only doing the one earring today. It's not a 5-minute job, but it's worth it in the end when you finish the finished product. It's very beautiful and original, and no one will ever have the exact same pair of earrings as you have. Okay, I'm just taking a look at this to see if I want to add something down the side here. Okay, I'm going to come through this big brown one, the cube. And I think I will, it's a little bit uneven to me. So I'll pick up some seed beads. Bring them down to the work. Have a look. And I think I will add, I'm going to add some O beads there, I think. Let's put 3 on, maybe 5. Got 4. Just see if I've got another. 5. This is just all done with your own judgment, what you think. Yes, I like that. And then I'm going to add, which is something I don't normally do, I'm going to add 2 of the 3mm fire polish, check fire polish beads. No, actually, I think I'll add 3. I always thought it looks better with 3 to me for some reason. It's just... And then I'm just going to add one little 11OC bead. I'm trying to keep it over towards the edge a bit there. And I'm going to go down through this bead before these other O beads here. Coming through there. Okay. That looks more even. Go through this one. And back up the top, and that's my tail thread there that's got caught up. It's there somewhere, there it is. No, actually I'm down at the bottom, not the top. Alright, this is the perfect opportunity now to add our briolet. Okay, I'm going to come back through 1 bead. No, 2 beads, sorry. Just to get it lined up evenly. I'm going to pick up 2 of the 11Os, whatever colour you like. I'm going to do the turquoise ones in. So they always go nice with the colour of the big quartz. Pass through if I can find the hole. Very tiny hole, these ones. Oh goodness, it's not going to pass through on this needle. Alright, that one well. I'll have to find another smoky quartz for the other earring. I should have checked that before I started. 2 more of the turquoise 11 O's. Lining that up so that's going to sit nicely, which is right there, but I've got the cube bead in the way. So what I'm going to do, just taking a closer look at this, that might just fit into that bead underneath. Yes, I think it will. Right next to the cube bead is an 11 so I'm going to go through that one. There we go, and that sits nicely there. Okay, now I need to come back around and tighten up this last row of embellished the beads that we embellished with. So I'm going to go through the next bead. Pull that nice and tight. Through the next bead. Okay, then down through the bead just on top of it. Back through the fire polish. Pulling tight. You want as least thread showing as possible. Sorry, I had a fly on my hand then. Finagling this needle through these beads again. There we go. Making sure we don't get caught up on that briolet. Okay, then back up through that last row that we added on here with the fire polish and the O beads. Go through as far as you can go. If you can't go all the way through, do it in a couple of goes. Coming out the top there. Pulling tight, and that's tightened everything up. Could actually have another go through that one if you wanted to. Okay, so now we're heading up to make our loop for our ear wire. Just keeping your eye on that briolet at the bottom to make sure we're lining up with that so your earring turns out even. Okay. And it looks like it. I'll go back one more bead. Okay, I always use the smaller ones for the, which is your 11 O's, for the loop at the top. So just pick up a few of those. What have I got there? 3, 5. I've got 5 to start with. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then just having a look. And that's going to be perfect. So I'm going to pass through this bead here on the top. And then down through the bead below it. Then through the bead next to it. And then reinforcing our loop. I hope you can see all this. Okay, now I'm just going to weave through to finish off. Or you can tie a knot, you know, do your half hitch knot if you like. Actually, I'm going to, I'm glad I noticed that now. I'm going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Total blank, goodness gracious. Don't you hate it when that happens? Anchor, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to anchor this down. I don't like the way that's flopping around. So there's quite a gap. I don't know whether you can see that. I can get this in focus for you. There's quite a gap between where my thread is coming out here and this bead here. So I'm just going to add one more 11O. See where my thread's coming out, and I'm going to go through the bead next to it. Oh, I don't know, did I break my needle? Yes, I think I have. Okay, I'll thread up another needle and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, back with a new needle. I've got my bead on there. I'm just going to pull down into the bead behind here. The poor old needle that just broke, that's probably done 15, 20, 25 projects, something like that now on that one needle. So I guess it just stressed out too much. Alright, that's pulling that in nice and tight. I'm going to go down through this outside line of beads. want to pull this in tighter here. So I'm going to go through the smaller one in front of the one that I'm coming out of. There we go. Pulling across, and we'll need to add one more bead in there so you don't see the thread. Actually, I'll add a turquoise one in so it blends in a bit better with the fire polish. So down through that third fire polish there, out the seed bead at the end, pulling that in nice and tight, and if you can see that's tightened that up quite significantly. Alright, they don't want me to go through them, they've been through enough, they're saying. Okay, so here I'm going to add a few more beads. As I said, this is just all, I don't like to say made up as you go along, but figured out as you go along. It's going to pick up 3. And being freeform, it doesn't matter. Nobody will know that you're not. It's not supposed to be like. Oh well, I shouldn't say not supposed to be like that because it's freeform. You can do what you like. There are no rules. There are no right or wrong way to do it. Nothing ever looks out of place. And I'm going to go down and reinforce this teardrop. I forgot I hadn't done that. I'm coming out of there, I'm going to pull over tight, come down through these beads here, and hopefully I can get through this briolet again. No, I'm not going to be able to without breaking it. Well, it doesn't get reinforced. So now I'm going to add a couple more beads, just some little ones, some 11-ohs. See, with these things happening to me, you can see what you're capable of doing. And see, that's not going to look out of place. So I'm just going to pass back through these fire polish beads. Back through a few more seed beads. Weaving around to finish off. As I said before, you can do a half-hitch knot if you want to. Totally up to you. I like to pass back through, just make sure I'm reinforcing beads that I might have missed along the way so that they're all nice and tight. pearls there. Okay. Now we snip off our tail. I left the tail on so that I'd know where the top and the bottom was. That's totally up to you whether you do that or not. Burn off your ends. I use a lighter. Tap it down so it goes into a little ball and you can't see it. Tap, 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 tap. And, okay, what we've got left here, just the ear wire. So this is just a bare copper ear wire. I make my own ear wires. Thread that through, add a little loop at the top. Find the bead that it sits in most comfortably. That's why I like to use the smaller ones, because it's easier to make it fit in. Closing up the ear wire, the hook on the ear wire. And I put it on backwards. Oh dear. There we are. It's not the first time I've ever done that. Okay, that's the right way this time. Closing up our ear wire. Let's move down a bead now. Anyway, you get the idea. It's annoying when that happens. Move it over one more. That'll be right there. These things are sent to test us, aren't they? Just straightening all of that up now. Okay, there we go. And that is our finished earring. So when you're making the second one, just follow exactly the same pattern. It doesn't matter, they're not reversible. I mean, you don't have to make one different for one ear, one different for the other ear. That's your pair. I think they're very pretty. And as I said, nobody else is going to have exactly the same pair of earrings as you, even if they follow along with this pattern. Theirs will always be different. And if you enjoyed that video, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Comment if you'd like down below. I'd love to hear comments on what you think about my work. And please subscribe. It's free to do so. Just click the subscribe button down the bottom and ring the bell, and then you'll get notifications when I put up my next tutorial. Next one, I think we might attempt a bracelet for the first time. Not for me, the first time for you in freeform. So, as I said, if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, comment, and hit the subscribe button. Okay, until next time, everybody have a lovely day. See you all later. Bye.